Silverwood Theme Park in Athol, Idaho started its life in the summer of 1988. Since then, the park has grown substantially to have a new water park and over 70 rides, slides, and attractions. But in this video, I'll only be focusing on the 7 roller coasters of this park and ranking them from worst to best. Before I start the video, please make sure to like and subscribe if you like the videos, and check out my free Patreon at patreon.com/lordoftherides. Number 7. Tiny Toot. Opening in 1998, this Zamperla-powered coaster is themed to a train car, and the track just goes in an oval for a couple of rounds. Not much else to say about this ride as it's just a kid's attraction, but I go on it every time I visit, so don't judge me. Number 6. Krazy Koaster. This children's ride is an SBF Visa group coaster in the kiddie area of Silverwood, like the last ride I was just talking about, except for the fact that this is quite the improvement. If you can manage to get on one of the middle cars, you should be able to spin quite a lot. But considering this is still a kid's ride, this is close to the bottom, but that doesn't mean that this is a bad ride. It's just not as thrilling as some of the other rides. Number 5. Corkscrew. This aerodynamics corkscrew model roller coaster was the first modern inverting roller coaster in the world, first being built at Knott's Berry Farm in California. This roller coaster is now an ACE landmark, which just goes to show that not all ACE landmark roller coasters are good. This ride is very rough, as you can see in the video, but has a few good moments if you're sitting in a good row. I would recommend sitting near the back or the second to last row, as you will have good legroom and a good view, but also get good airtime off the drop, and you won't get jolted around at the top of the airtime hill after the drop. For me, it's worth the credit, but don't ride it too many times unless you're begging for a massive headache. Number 4. Timber Terror. This is Silverwood's headline attraction, being built in 1996 and having the Silverwood sign on its lift hill. It gives good airtime when it's running well, but recently it has been running rough with major jackhammering at the bottom of each airtime hill, and especially the drop. This ride has more redeeming qualities than Corkscrew, however, such as the second half in the front row, the turnaround, and the helix with the new RMC iBox track. This makes it much smoother. My recommendation, if management at Silverwood is watching this, would be to retrack the drop and major airtime hills on Timber Terror. I know that this would cost a lot of money, but there is literally an elephant ride in a place called Coaster Alley. That does not fit there. I'm just saying you can demolish the elephant ride, sell it for parts, and then try and retrack most of Timber Terror. It would boost ridership, and you could advertise it as a smoother ride on your pamphlets. I'm just saying. Number 3. Tremors. Tremors is Timber Terror's younger brother, being built 3 years after the success of Timber Terror, but also being a huge upgrade. This nearly always has a longer line than Timber Terror and is a very solid ride overall. There aren't as many rough spots after they retracked most of this a couple of years ago, but there are some intense laterals on the helix right after the first 2 tunnels after the drop and by the turnaround by Stunt Pilot, and the airtime hills between tunnels give some serious negative G-force. Definitely worth the wait whenever you visit. Number 2. Aftershock. This is a very tough choice between first and second place, but after my last trip to Silverwood on August 7th, I went on Aftershock twice, once in the back and once in the front. I recommend the first 2 rows so you get the most floater on the second tower. The vertical loop going backwards is extremely intense and provides a lot of sustained positives. My only 2 problems with this is that there's some headbanging on the Cobra roll and the line moves incredibly slow, and Silverwood needs to train their operators to go faster, as this is a low-capacity ride that takes around 5 minutes just for people to get on the train. But all of my whining aside, Aftershock is such a good ride, and I highly recommend it whenever you go to Silverwood. Number 1. Stunt Pilot. If you're a coaster enthusiast like me, you don't even need me to tell you that RMC is a top-tier manufacturer. RMC doesn't have a single bad roller coaster, and this just proves my claim. Back row is the best place to be for airtime, and man is there a lot of it. You get absolutely whipped over the drop in the back, thrown out of your seat on the twisted airtime hill, then pushed back into your seat on the upward helix, only to be whipped out again by the second drop, gray out on the valley under the barn, and thrown out for the final time before the brakes. From my experience, this is always a walk-on from 3 o'clock to 4 o'clock, so you can ride it as many times as you want for an hour or 2. I got 3 rides in a row last time I went. I think Silverwood chose the right manufacturer and the right ride for a new 2021 expansion. But let me know what you think. Would you have changed anything in this ranking? Leave it in the comments. And again, please be sure to check out my free Patreon at patreon.com/lordoftherides. And please like the video and subscribe if you haven't already. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video.